So Dan Schneiders made an apology. Welcome to Share the Week. This week we're going to be talking about Dan Schneider. Yes, the fat feet guy. If you don't know who Dan Schneider is, let me just give you the gist. Dan Schneider was an American screenwriter and producer. He worked on such shows as iCarly and Victorious, them big shows on Nickelodeon. Way back in the day. You probably remember a lot of them if you're my age, which isn't old. Obviously these shows were beloved by a lot of people back in the day, but after all these shows had ended and the actors became older, there was a lot of stuff that came out about Dan Schneider that wasn't very nice, such as a foot fetish. Yes, he was known to have a foot fetish. Now, if you look back at a lot of these shows, you can kind of see why people joined the dots.
So now, just for fun, I'm gonna say 3 sentences that I bet. Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth? Check this out.
Now, for some reason, this clip has no audio, but I just wanted to put it in here just to show how much weird shit is in it. Like, just check out how many times feet show up in this scene. Like, it's actually disgusting. So you even got a guy touching someone's feet in it. It's like all he wants to show in it is feet. It's just a weird thing to do.
Do that. That'd be bad.
What's with boots? Why is Carly always wearing
I'm always
boots?
wearing these boots.
It's actually fucking disgusting when you look back at it. Obviously back in the day you probably wouldn't have thought anything of it, but looking back after knowing what he's done, it's kind of gross. All these allegations came out about him in the Me Too movement when that first came about. There's been a lot of people that come out and speaking about this, like Jeanette McCurdy. It's not something you'd expect from somebody that works with kids. Now, why am I talking about him today? Obviously, this is probably old news. You would think that this guy would just disappear, considering he got away with most of this shit. But no, recently a documentary was released called Quiet on Set, which is a documentary based on what happened to all the kids in them shows back in the day. All the sexual exploitations, all the weird, disgusting, deplorable shit that happened to these people. Now, amidst all of this, obviously there's a lot of shade thrown at Dan Schneider, considering that he was the head of the whole thing. In fact, there was so much shade on him, Nickelodeon has kind of tried to brush it all under the carpet. They've never really addressed it. They just kind of went, he never existed. Now, in the wake of all this, for some stupid, fucked up reason, Dan Schneider decided to go on an interview trying to defend himself and apologize.
Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Now, this interview was hosted by an irrelevant loser called Boogie.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Now, I say that, people might think that I'm being unjust here, but considering the questions he asks, it's kind of appalling. Like, the way he goes about this whole interview, it's basically like he's on Dan's side to begin with. Like, he used to work for Dan, right? Back in the day, he used to be on one of his shows. And all the questions he gives him are very, like, softball questions. Like, questions that aren't going to challenge him at all. In fact, it all seems very, very scripted, as a lot of people have pointed out. He even talks about the massages that he used to give to kids and all this stuff, like, at the beginning of the interview. And he's like, yeah, that's a bit weird, but kind of gives him the benefit of the doubt because he says, yeah, I feel bad about that. Like, no, that's not how the world works, mate. You can't just go, yeah, I feel bad about that, but that was back in the day, I'm different now. No, you're disgusting, you fat, ghoulish chode.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable.
In one clip of this interview, he's questioned about why he used some of the clips he used and how people will perceive that nowadays. And he says, if it affects someone, if it offends someone, then you should just cut it, Just cut it. Just cut it out. No, maybe you shouldn't have put it in there to begin with.
That could never happen because your uvula is that swingy thing in the back of your throat right here. It's not possible.
You can't just be like, oh, yeah, I made something really sexual about kids. But if you don't like that, just cut it out, Times are changing. No, that's not how it works.
Now, you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently where we are, some people think some of those jokes are inappropriate for children.
See, I just want to stop this here and say, this is what I meant about the softball questions. He clearly knows that everybody looks at these jokes, well, I say jokes, looks at these scenes as disgusting. So I don't understand why he's trying to put it out there as if people are just getting offended by this. Like, oh, yeah, this is just a new thing. No, you know this is disgusting. Stop trying to be on his side. It's gross.
Looking back at them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and they're saying, oh, you know, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid's show. And I have no problem with that. If that's how anyone feels, let's cut those jokes out of the show.
I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it.
See, just the way he says, oh, that's very big of you. It's like, fucking hell, man. Can you suck any more cock here? You know, do you want to just be up Dan Schneiders' ass? I don't understand. Like, he's clearly on his side. This is a one-sided interview and it's such a PR stunt. It's unreal.
The way he comes out in this interview is like he's done nothing wrong. You know, like, oh, he's the victim here. Not the kids that he's abused. He is. He's the victim. This fat fucking loser. Now, there was another thing that was pointed out recently about Drake Bell. He's come out, obviously, saying that he was sexually abused as a child. Now, he was sexually abused by a guy named Brian Peck. This guy worked directly with Dan Schneider.
And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. And I told him, I'm here for you. What do you need?
So clearly he kind of knew what the fuck was going on here. Like, he's just brushing this all under the carpet because somebody else is now getting shit, right? He's trying to throw all that blame that's been on him for this many years. It's been quite a few years now. He's trying to throw this all on this one guy who's also another piece of shit, right? And trying to say, oh, yeah, it's gross. That shouldn't have happened. None of this should ever happen. Yes, it shouldn't have happened. But you were in charge of that. You were running that. You're a disgusting human being. Now, this whole interview just seems really stupid to me, and also to a lot of other people. You know, like, why come out in the first place? Just stay away. Just, nobody wants to hear your fucking side of the story. Nobody cares. Nobody actually cares. It's been so many years. You're not defending yourself with any evidence here. You're just being a complete cunt. All these people that you've fucking abused over the years, they're mentally scarred now. Like the woman that was on Victorious. Have you seen her? Have you seen what's happened to her? Right? I'm just going to show you a picture of her here. It's not good, right? Obviously, that's not come from nothing. And yet he thinks that he can come out in an interview and think that, because I'm making myself look good with this stupid PR stunt and this stupid cunt that's interviewing me that's obviously being paid off, maybe people will forgive me. No, nobody will. And I'm glad everybody's seeing through this guy. I'm sure a lot more is going to come out about Dan Schneider now that this interview has come out. You know, he's not done himself any favors here. He's actually just dug his hole deeper, which I'm glad. I hope that more things come out about him, and I hope that justice is served. But genuinely, I don't think anything's going to happen to him because, you know, Hollywood's disgusting. It really is. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe. A new video next week. And yeah, stay away from Dan Schneider. Have a good one. See you later.